All right. So light a stick of incense or a candle, and it's just our way of saying yes to creating some sacred space for practice today, for going within, for prayer and meditation and connecting to ourselves and the wisdom that's in our bodies and all around us. The divine is everywhere, and the divine is serving us. It's here. It wants to help. It wants to assist. That we just have to be open to it. So this is your chance. It's just a small thing. It's about intention. And so we set the intention and we allow ourselves to take this moment and say yes to a deep tune in with great spirit, with our own hearts, and with this precious moment. So I'm going to do both. I got my incense going on one side. I'm going to get my candle going on the other side. And I'm under this beautiful Ponciana tree. It's a royal Ponciana tree. It blooms these big, huge, gorgeous, orangey red flowers in the late spring, early summer. And then once those all drop, we get these huge kind of mesquite-looking pods. And now that's where the tree is right now. It'll lose everything in the wintertime. It'll just be bare. All right, so we have a couple things to tune in with. So just find a comfortable seat to begin and close your beautiful eyes. And allow yourself in this moment to drop in with yourself and your breath, to let go of anything outside your own internal space. So one way I kind of imagine that happening is like you're retracting all these little hooks that might be in you, of things that kind of pull you away from yourself, that are part of your world. And these can be good things too. This is time out for me. So just retract all those little hooks, let them go back to where they belong. And you allow yourself to be free from that just for the next hour and 15 minutes. And as you tune in and as you breathe, and as you feel yourself becoming free, you feel the space clear around you. And as the space clears around you, we'll work on our first acupressure point. It is at the base of the rib cage. You're going to look for that lower edge of the rib cage, the furthest one down. It's about a half an inch. Like if you go down from your nipple line, it's about a half of an inch below that edge of your rib cage. Okay, so we're going to press down on the lower edge of that rib cage, kind of 1/2 inch in from the nipple line. Okay, you're just going to hook your fingers up and in to that spot. This is called abdominal sorrow point. So it's your spleen 16 point. And as you press here, close your eyes and just give yourself some natural, easy breaths. So this point is really powerful for anything going on in the abdominal center and in the diaphragm. It can actually relieve hiccups and abdominal cramps. It helps with appetite imbalances and ulcers and indigestion. Just going to give it another 30 seconds, closing the eyes, easy breathing. Perfect. And then release that. And just turn your palms up on your lap. You can change the crossing of your legs so your other leg is in front or on top. And then a little poem. It's called "The Meadow Does Not Know." The meadow does not know about the stock market. Today, she is worth exactly what she was worth yesterday, a year ago at creation. This doesn't mean property value or taxable assets. I mean milkweed and copper moths, honeybees, cow vetch, king snakes, meadow life. Meadow life is not money. What rises and falls here are stems and flowers, leaves and fruit. No zigzag line of profit and panic, but the great wheel turning. Here, God gives of her extravagance. And here, like flicker, viceroy, dragonfly, we come into our inheritance. So this speaks of getting back to nature and the cycles of it. All right, let's come down with our right hand on the ground next to our right hip. Let's take our left arm, reach it up to the sky. So we're going to sit tall, lengthen the left side body, and as we exhale, arc over to the right. So we're going to arc the whole entire left arm and side body. So keeping this sitting bones down, reaching and opening, stretching and spiraling the heart. And then let your head go. Relax your head down towards your right ear, right shoulder, and then take your left arm and wrap it behind your back, right alongside the back waist. And then as you can, start to twist and open your chest towards the sky. Let your head hang back. Let your throat open. Soften your jaw. Maybe even close your eyes. And take a couple deep breaths. Letting the throat and the jaw, muscles of your face, your neck, relax. And then from here, instead of coming up, we're going to turn towards our right leg, right knee, and actually fold towards it. So let me just tip my camera down so you can see. So I'm turning towards the right leg, and I'm going to fold down towards it. So touching the forehead down towards your knee and getting that side body waistline stretch. You're going to feel your tensor fascia lata, the hip flexor on the left hand side as you stretch downward. So move your forehead down, tuck your chin towards your chest, stretching out the back of the neck and the whole back body, side body. You'll also feel as you relax here and soften through your belly, you can feel your waistline and your abdomen also doing its little flexion and expansion. And just feeling that subtle rise and fall. All right, on your inhale, walk your hands back up. Stay facing the right knee. Take your left hand to it, and then take your right arm behind you and spiral your spine, looking back behind you over your right shoulder. And just bring out, squeeze out. At some point, you might feel like taking the back of your left hand against the thigh, your right thigh, and using that as leverage to go a little bit further. Good, and then exhale, slowly return back to where we began. Pause. Last bit of our sitting positions on this other side. Left hand to the floor, next to your left hip, right arm reaches up to the sky, stretch up, and then lean as far over as you can. Spiral the heart towards the sky. Take your right shoulder kind of back behind your ear if you can. Lifting and opening into the heart space. Let it feel good. Let your head go now. Let your left ear drop down towards your left shoulder. You can bend into your left elbow a little bit more. Wrap your right arm behind your back. And then rotate that right shoulder back a little bit more. Let the head hang back. Open the front of the chest. Keep pressing the floor with your sitting bones, with your hand, just enough so you can feel a little tension working upward and outward. So you have this inner stability going on as you work your open. And just imagine each breath is like a bath of prana, moving energy that might be stuck or just slow, creating more space, more love, more light to flow through. You can relax your jaw, your lips, your tongue. You might even want to stick your tongue out and open your mouth wide, stretching the muscles of the face. Good. One more breath. And then as you exhale, we're not going to go up, we're going to go down. So we're going to turn to face the left knee, frame it with your two hands, and then walk your hands out and then bow in. Bring your forehead down towards your knee. Okay, so as you bow in, you're feeling that connection to the floor, to the earth. You're pushing it away from you. You're sitting down into your sitting bones and then drawing your chin to chest, forehead towards the knee. So they may or may not touch, but get that squeezing, rounding action. And then play with that belly. As you exhale, hug the belly in. As you inhale, let the belly loosen. So use those strong breaths to help you feel even more alive and more present. All right, let your next inhale raise you up. Walk your hands back up towards you. Nice and easy and slow. Sit tall. Keep facing that left knee. Right hand now to the knee. Left arm sweeps back behind you. And then using your arms as leverage for the twist, looking over your left shoulder. And if your right hand can come to the outside of your left thigh, press against and go a little further. Take it one more notch. Shrug the shoulders away from your earlobes, lengthen through the crown. And as you take your next exhale, start to unwind and bring yourself back to center. Beautiful. All right, so set your feet down on the ground in front of you, knees bent. Okay. Hopefully you have something to drink. Our next acupressure point is on the top of our feet. Oops, top of our feet, right between the big toe and the second toe. Okay, this is called liver 3. It's known as bigger rushing. So it's on the top of the foot, valley between the big toe and the second toe. You're going to go right in between those 2 points, like right where your toe kind of line ends on the inside of the ball bone of your big toe. Okay, so it's that point right there on each side. I'm going to use my thumbs to press. Okay, we're going to push down in there, and you can pull your knees in towards your chest. So you kind of have this little squeezy feeling, almost like when you're in child's pose or when you're laying on your back and you pull your knees into your chest. It's that same feeling. So pull your thighs right into your belly and chest. You can have your feet slightly apart, and I'm pressing into those points with my thumb in that valley between the big toe and second toe. So we're just holding it for a minute. You can close your eyes. The intention here for liver 3 is to relieve headaches, tiredness, allergies, and any pain in our body. So there's lots of things that can help to get relief from this point. Give yourself some good breaths here. Imagine as you breathe, you're just giving your own self a hug. That hug is more than just like an action. It's telling ourselves we're willing to be of comfort in this moment. Comfort inside of our body, comfort inside of our minds and on our hearts. Just to hold space for what's here now. Not having to change or fix it, just to offer up these beautiful practices. Opening up the energies. All right, let's let that go and then lay down. So I'm actually going to turn and place my head near you because our next set of poses is going to be from bridge. So you want to lay flat on your back with your knees bent and your feet on the ground. And we're going to do a moving bridge pose. So take your arms up from here, let your shoulders and shoulder blades drop back into the floor behind you, and let your humerus bones drop into their sockets. Okay. And then just feel where your sacrum bone is in relationship to everything. Now take an inhale, press down through your feet and lift up through your hips. And as you do, take your arms up and overhead. Okay, we're going to leave our head in neutral position. Press through the feet. And as you exhale, lower down and bring your arms back just to this reaching to the sky position. All right. So inhale, press down through all 4 corners of your feet, reach up, exhale, lower down. So we're going to do about 7 more inhales and exhales. And if at any point you feel like, okay, I'm going to hold that bridge pose, we're eventually getting there. Feel free to do that sooner than later if you need to. But just try coordinating your breath with your movement. So when you inhale, you're raising and lifting, squeezing. And when you exhale, you're lowering down and softening. Let your breath lead the way. You got to let your mind sort of submit to the breath. I'm going to coordinate so I can empty all my breath out on my exhale. And when I inhale, even if I'm still moving, I'm going to let that breath continue to suspend until I've maximized the movement. Last one. And as you take your bridge now, lifting your hips, bring your arms opposite. So right down along the floor next to you, palms facing down, press into your feet, lift your hips high, and just pause here, holding that strength. So you're going to kind of squeeze your sitting bones towards each other and our thighs towards each other. Feel your thighs fire up. Feel your feet connecting. Ground through the hands, the shoulders. Head is in a neutral position. 2 more rounds of breath. See if you can let your toes come up off the earth. So all 10 toes, they will. Let them fly up and fan out. And on your next exhale, slowly lower down from the top of your spine towards the base of your spine. And then relax all the way. Let go. And we'll just be here for 30 seconds in stillness, feeling, sensing. Perfect. So from here, hug your right knee in towards your chest and slide your left leg straight out along your mat. Take a nice long inhale. Flex your feet. Again, fan back your toes if you will. And then exhale, lift your head up, touch your nose to your knee. If you can, squeeze, and then release. Lay back down. Use your left hand on your right knee to give yourself a twist. So we're going to cross over twist. And then if your right arm wants to extend out, let it. And we don't have to press that knee all the way to the floor. Just let it be a nice openness across from the inside of the right armpit all the way out to the edge of your left knee. Sorry, right knee. And then turning your head to look down your right arm gives you that final expression. And then some of you may want to straighten the right leg if it'll let you. That's kind of a big order at this point, maybe for some. Okay. Good. All right, inhale, bring everything back to center. Let's trade sides. So right foot to the ground, left knee in, and then slide the right leg out along the ground. Hug left knee to the belly. Take a nice long breath in, fan the toes back, flex the feet. Exhale, lift the head towards the knee, nose to touch if possible. Squeeze as tight as you can, and then exhale, lower down. Right hand to left thigh, crossover twist, left arm extends, and then you can look over the left arm shoulder. So close your eyes and let yourself feel what parts of your body are saying thank you right now. Maybe your left hip is tight and you're feeling that stretch there and your body's like, wow, that's exactly that perfect spot. Breathe into it. What feels good right now? And then soften your jaw a little bit more. Maybe a soft little parting of the lips so that you feel the jaw release even further. And then inhale, bring everything back up to center. Place both feet on the ground. Pause. Both hands on your belly. So stacking your hands over your belly button. And again, just 30 seconds or so, just feeling and sensing and being still. Cool. So let's turn over all the way onto our bellies. So flip it around. So you're on your belly. All right, so this next position is helping us to get into some facial points. So we're going to do one facial point before we get into our next set of poses. So we're going to go to the bottom of the cheekbone. So look where your pupils are. Go to the bottom of your cheekbone. Okay. This relieves head congestion and any sort of burning or eye pain, swelling of the face and eyes. So just at the base of your cheekbones, I'm pressing in, but I'm also slightly pressing up. This is also a sinus point. So this will also help us release any stuff going on in the sinus cavities. So feeling that, closing your eyes, easy breathing. So I'm just propped up on my elbows, kind of almost like a sphinx. So getting a little baby back bend with this nice stretch. See if you can continue to soften the muscles around your eyes and brow and forehead and scalp. Perfect. And then with your next exhale, just release your arms so they're at like 2 tracks in front of you. So palms facing down. So you're going to press down through your elbows, press through your palms, lift and pull up through your chest as if you're letting a kite fly up out of your chest, and then drop your chin and drop back. So kind of feel this pulling at the back of your head. So little squeeze, drawing your sitting bones towards each other, pressing the thighs in towards the earth, tops of the feet into the earth. So an active Sphinx pose, breathing in and breathing out. So we've got about 1.5 minutes longer here. So we're doing a yin, but we're doing an active yin pose. If it's too much on your pelvis or like on your belly, you can always roll up a blanket and place it underneath your navel and the top of your hip bones, even your pubic bone. And if you want to take this a little further, like my back bending today is like feeling so good, I want to go a little further. So if that's the case, you're going to take your hands, open them out like in a V shape off to the edges of your mat. You come into seal position. So you straighten your arms and kind of lock them into position, drop your shoulders down, and then again, let that kite fly up from your heart. So there's really beautiful, yummy lengthening across the front of the body. And we'll squeeze in your backside. So you're supporting that low back, legs stay reaching. And then drink in that breath, last 30 seconds. So when you come out of the pose, you're going to bend your elbows, but you're going to pull forward along your mat. So you're lengthening your spine as you come down, and then lower all the way down. Make a little pillow for your head and rest your head to one side and close your eyes. So the book I pulled off the shelf, or that actually flew off the shelf at me today, is Swami Chetananda, Open Heart, Open Mind. So I'm going to read you a little section of this as we rest on our bellies. And it's a story about the oneness of love. When I was 23 years old, my spiritual teacher, Rudy, passed away. Once a month for the 6 months before, he had told me that it would happen, and I hadn't believed him. Then it happened anyways. I loved him more than I have ever loved anyone else before, and more than I have loved anyone ever since. And suddenly he was gone. I was asked by his family to go to the funeral home to view the body and to approve of all the arrangements for the funeral. So when I went and discovered to my surprise that there wasn't a single moment of pain for me in the whole experience. Even today, almost 20 years later, I have no pain from it. I looked at the body and saw not one glimmer of anything related to Rudy. It was just a body, and there was no issue. Turn your head to the other side, and we'll continue with the story. Swami Chetananda continues. Love and loving are not about bodies or even about our lives as individuals. I had been with Rudy for almost 2 years. His death was the perfect opportunity for me to feel that life had proved itself to be terrible after all. Instead of thinking that, however, I continued to love him and to discover love. This experience is what led me to understand that loving and life are not connected to bodies. Bodies are only an effect of life. What is most deeply alive never dies, and neither does real love. What I loved about Rudy was not even Rudy himself exactly, but what happened to me in his company because of the quality of love that he was. That was a truly amazing experience. And I love that. And to one degree or another, that is what happens to us in the company of anyone we love. We cultivate that experience, look at it carefully, take care of it, and let it grow inside of us. This is what makes it possible for us to become big enough people to love in a real way. Let's pause for a moment. There's only 2 more paragraphs. Let's pause for a moment and let's press back into child's pose. And as we come to child's pose for this next one, we're going to do one more acupressure. So back into child's pose. You're sitting back on your heels. If you need a little extra support, do it. And we're going to do bladder 2, which is known as drilling bamboo. So you're going to the indentations on either side of where the bridge of the nose meets the ridge of your eyebrows. So it's up here. Okay, again, I'm going to use my index fingers to push into that place. There is a little indentation and it can get fierce. So just find that little indentation. You're going to put pressure on it just like you would kind of lean into it for child's pose. Okay, and you're going to feel it. So this pose or this acupressure helps to relieve headaches, foggy vision, sinus pain, hay fever, and head congestion. Okay, so let's hold it for about a minute. And as you hold it, I'm going to finish reading this little section. The oneness of love. Loving in a real way. What do I mean by this? Real love is not about who or what we are as individual expressions of life. The experience of love transcends all the information of our senses. It has nothing to do with what we see, hear, say, smell, or touch. It is not a question of rejecting, denying, or suppressing this information, but of going beyond it to recognize the oneness of love that underlies the whole universe. Then we discover that all the boundaries we assume between ourselves and others do not, in fact, really exist. There is no real boundary, but only one thing. That is why I say that real love is not personally. I mean, it is no way limited. So you can release your hands and just take whatever variation now of child's pose you love, either with the forehead near the floor, with your knees wide, maybe going to wide knee child's pose. Maybe you're going to let your head rest, forehead rest in your hands from here. I spent years looking for the boundary between me and Rudy. I couldn't find it. Indeed, when Rudy passed away, all I could do at first was look for him. I was looking for his boundary in order to get past my own. After a while, it dawned on me that Rudy was right there with me and that I didn't need to look anyplace else. Then I started looking for the boundaries to that experience until I discovered again that there were none there either. That is how big love really is. So let's breathe into that beautiful story, into all the ways we remember the people who have passed on that we love so much. And to know that all exists at once, quite possibly here and now. Let those energies continue to be alive with us. And the love never goes away because it can't. That real love sustains us, and it always is. Right. So we'll walk ourselves up into a table pose. So from our wide position, we'll bring our knees under and our hands under. And then you can choose whether to curl your toes under, which might feel nice for the calf muscles, or keep the tops of the feet flat. And just start by wagging the hips to the right and to the left. And then possibly making circles over your hands and knees. And then circling in the opposite direction. And stirring this little pot of energy that you are on your mat today. And get the creaks and the groans out and let your creature body come alive. And maybe you start to go into some other little twists and turns and flexes through your body. See without seeing. So close your eyes and see what your body wants to do. We're all going to meet in downward facing dog in the next minute or so. So if it just happens to be down dog that's calling your name right now, go on, go on over, see how it shifts. But also you might find that there's some other movements that your body's wanting that can just come into your shapes, just for play, just for expression. And then as down dog comes into our view, we'll take a few moments here, 5 breaths. See if you can find Ujjayi pranayama here. Throaty breath. Tongue resting on the roof of your mouth, shoulders broad, head hanging, shake the head no and yes. Let the spine lengthen. Press the heels down into the earth. Stretch and open. Let it feel good. And let's come forward into plank position. And just play right knee down, right knee up. Left knee down, left knee up. Right knee down, up, left knee down, up. You're still in plank, playing with those knee drops. And then see if you can do 2 knees together, up. Couple times, holding that belly strong. 3, 2, 1, and push back downward facing dog. You may want to walk your feet in a little bit. Again, shake out the head and neck, walk the feet to the outer edges of your mat, press the floor, and then come up high on your heel, tippy toes, so your heels are up high. And then walk your feet in, but you're going to keep your feet wide. So fingertips stay on the ground, feet to the ground. Inhale, half lift. So draw your heart forward. And then fold in half. Grab your index finger and middle finger around your big toes. Squeeze and make a loop. And then pull in from there. You can let your elbows come out, or you can just draw them in by your shins, calf muscles. But let your head continue to dangle down towards the floor. Weight down through your feet. So you feel, again, all 4 corners of your feet connecting. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. And then again, inhale, half lift. Keep your index and middle fingers around those big toes. Lift and pull length from your belly to your heart. And then we'll have our fingertips release, hands to the floor. Walk your feet in, bring your heels to touch, toes slightly apart. Okay, we're going to do a little kundalini move. So when you come down, your knees are going to go out and your heels are going to go up. You're going to be on your tippy toes. So call this frog pose in kundalini. So we're going to do 21, I think it's 21, 21 or 22. You can count, but the inhale, you're going to lift your heart, pull your chest through, come up high on your tippy toes. And then your exhale, you can keep your hips high or you can lower them down, forehead to, I'm going to turn sideways so you guys can see this maybe better. So it's inhale, exhale, inhale, straighten, exhale. Okay, so that was 5 for me. So keep counting, breathing. We're strengthening our legs. We already started this when we're doing our bridging. We're also opening the hips. This is our big activity for today. Maybe 14. Last one. Stay in the elongated leg position. Grab your elbows, separate your feet so they're both turned to the same direction. Bend your knees so your belly rests on your thighs. Hang your head and just sway a little bit. And it will feel really good to lower down from here. We're going to come all the way down. So we're sitting, soles of the feet together, knees open. Bring your hands behind your back, both of them together, fingertips to the floor. Lift your chest, look to the sky. Draw the shoulder blades back so they kiss each other. Lift your heart. Yes. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Walk your hands out. Grab your feet if you want. You can do a little foot massage. Lower your head towards your feet as you massage them. You may be able to touch your forehead to your toes. Curling in. So let your legs melt a little more, inner groins melt a little more, hips melt a little more. And then roll up with your next inhalation. If you have something to drink, grab it, get a little hydration before we move on. So we did plank lower downs just with the knees. We're going to turn it in the opposite direction. Here, so let me face this way a little more. I'm going to turn. So I have my back towards you because I want to show you what's happening here. My hands are back behind me on the ground. My feet are planted, hips distance. Okay, so from here, we're doing table poses. So I'm going to press up and then I'm going to lower down. Turn to the side and show you. So press up and lower down. Okay. So feet hips distance. I don't have my ankles just under my knees, maybe just 6 inches away. My hands are just apart from my booty. And as I lift up, I'm pressing from my booty up to the sky and then lowering down. Okay. Keeping the shoulder blades back. Let's see if we can get in at least 11. Lift and lowers. If you want, if it feels safe for your head and neck, and let your head slightly go back, or you can keep your head in neutral. Inhale as you press, exhale as you lower. So this is big for our wrists. If it gets too tiring for the wrists, you can always turn your hands for the last 2 or 3 rounds. So you got your wrists and your hands pressing differently. Good. So we're sending energy through. You might feel a lot of warmth in these last few sets of poses. Last one. If you can, hold it. Take one extra breath, hold it. And as you exhale, lower all the way down. Good. Round your back and hold your legs. You can lower your head down between your thighs. And just pause here for a moment to release the wrists. You can hold on to one wrist. As you hold on to one wrist, you press your knees into your inner elbows and let that help to decompress. And then you change hands. So your left hand's maybe holding your right wrist. Push your knees into your arms. You can even wiggle your fingers as you do that. Show you again. So grab your right hand, your left wrist, push your knees into your inner elbows, wiggle your fingers. Just a nice little way to decompress the wrists. And then change. Perfect. Good, and then shake out your hands. Take your legs straight out in front now. So not everybody's real comfortable with Paschimottanasana, but it's a really good therapeutic pose. So we're going to work on it. If you need to, it's kind of last pose of today before Shavasana. If you need to, you can grab your blanket and make a little roll. And then put your rolled blanket underneath your knees so your knees stay bent. Okay. So the goal is to be able to hinge from that where your hip flexors meet with your legs. So you want your belly kind of coming on top of the thighs and then your chest on top of your knees. Okay. Whether the legs have to stay straight or not is going to be up to you. Once you do come forward as much as you can, just like in a standing forward bend, you're going to lower your head down towards your legs. Soften your shoulder blades. Let your low back stay long. And let the breath soothe and nourish that juncture. So your pelvis is getting a huge wash of energy and breath. But that low back, especially if the knees are bent, are also getting that nice massage too. So when the breath is good and strong and guided towards that area along the back waist and sacrum, you'll also receive that energy flow there. So about 30 to 45 more seconds. Good. So as you come up, push your toes away from you because we've done a lot to curl the toes towards us. So push your toes away from you. Lift your heart and then slide your hands all the way up your legs. Take a big inhale, reach the arms up by the ears. Clasp the hands above you. Press your palms out and up and gaze up. Good. Let that elongation from your sitting bones all the way up through the palms of your hands help you feel spacious. Exhale, draw a big rainbow over your head as you release. All right, it's Shavasana time. So I know it's nice if we can do a little bit of free flow. So anything that your body needs now, just to kind of let whatever else needs to happen in your body happen. So if you have any special cravings for your body's like, oh, please give us one more twist, or, please let's hang out in this pose. Go for it. I'm going to get some music ready so we have a nice Shavasana today. Okay, so I got my music geared up. It's going to be about a 5-minute chant and then 5 minutes of silence, and then I'll be bringing you back. So we have about 10 minutes total in our relaxation.
Asato maha Sadgamaya Tamaso maha Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Asato maha Sadgamaya Tamaso maha Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Asato maha Sadgamaya Tamaso maha Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Asato maha Sadgamaya Tamaso maha Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Asato maha Sadgamaya Tamaso maha Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Asato maha Sadgamaya Tamaso maha Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Asato maha Sadgamaya Tamaso maha Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Asato maha Sadgamaya Tamaso maha Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Asato maha Sadgamaya Tamaso maha Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Asato maha Sadgamaya Tamaso maha Jyotirgamaya asatohumaha satgamaya tamasohumaha jyotirgamaya mrityurma.
The chant we heard today is the Shanti mantra. And Asatoma Sadgamaya means from ignorance lead me to truth. Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya, from darkness lead me to light. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, from death lead me to immortality. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. So it's a very, very powerful chant, the Shanti mantra, Asatoma Sadgamaya. It helps us remember that we are truth, we are light, we are immortal, we are infinite beings. And to call upon that peace, that deep peace, and peace again. As we slowly breathe in and out and draw ourselves up from our resting time back into the world, you can pull your knees into your chest and rock a little from side to side. Take as much time as you need. Maybe a little twist. Roll over onto one side. And anytime you feel ready, you can press yourself up to a seated position. Take as much time as you need. And from your sitting pose, we'll close our eyes and bring our palms together at our heart space. Love reading out of our wee moon calendar. So this is from this week's wee moon. This is from the new moon, Scorpio, full moon, Taurus. It's for this time called On the Brink. I think we're all feeling that right now, brink of change, brink of a big awakening or a next big step or a next big vision. But some old things have to, move out so that other things can move in. And this poem, or it's actually a letter, it says Letter to the World. It's by Ellen Jaffe. I'm going to read it to you to close our practice today. If you'd like, you can close your eyes and just take it in. She says, this is my letter to the world that writes to me, to all of us, in the language of sea foam and sunlight, tornadoes, typhoons, tsunamis, nature's tongue that can be gentle and loving, like a mother animal, or harsh and hurting when we do not respect her skin, her heartbeat, her children. This is my dream for the world. Let us learn before it's too late that love is the force that greens and grows us all. Molecule to mollusk to human, connecting our flowing current, keeping us whole, restoring our brokenness. These are our hopes for the world. Hear our cries. Teach us to cry before it is too late. Before fire, flood, and ice consume us, let us shed the old snakeskins of greed and hatred, reborn in new and silken welcome, shining with abundance and new light. I am the world, writing in response, hoping against hope for more light, fresher air, water clean and clear as starlight. I have whispered to you in flowers and fruits, thundered and wept in tornadoes and hurricanes, scorched in drought and fire, opened my heart to rebirth. I want to save my children, not swallow them up. Will you listen? And it's a moment to live those truths and our immortality and our light. It's to call upon those parts of us that are brave, that are courageous, can step into meaningful things. May we each know what that is for ourselves today, tomorrow, and the next day and beyond. So grateful you came to practice with me today. Thank you all so much. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace to all, love to all, light to all. Loka Samasta Sukino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy, peaceful. May we know our light and live from that. May we be free.